Okay, let's see what the weight is. 98.4. Another drop. So this morning I was able to get my fasted weight. I didn't get to the check-ins because I had to run out for a last minute appointment. I'm going to the chiropractor / physio to see if they can do anything for my back, because this week has been super bad. I obviously haven't been able to go to the gym at all this week, but we'll see what progress we've made regardless, because I've stuck to my low day meal plan to ensure that I still drop fat in the process, and of course I'm not training as well. But I'm gonna go see what the chiropractor has to say now. I'm hoping it's more than just the chiropractor, because I'm not a big fan of chiropractors. The first chiropractor I went to previously for this exact same situation, before I even knew that I had herniated discs and that it was as bad as it is, the chiropractor said, no, there's no ways that you've got herniated discs, you'd be in way more pain, and I believed him. And he ended up just clicking the shit out of my spine, the bottom as well, just pressing where the herniation is actually occurred, and probably just made it far worse. So yeah, the reputation with chiropractors at the moment is not at its best. And what I disliked about that chiropractor as well is I went in there and straight off the bat, okay, so I want you to book 5 more sessions. Like, piss off, man. You just want me for my money. You're not actually here to help me. And I went to go get my scans done, and look, I got 3 herniated discs. So, bit of a bummer, but let's see what she can do. I mean, the main priority that I want to get done is, because I haven't been able to walk properly, these muscles in my leg, my hip are all tweaking out big time. So maybe there's an adjustment that can be done. Maybe there's some dry needling that can be done just to release the tension from the muscle, basically. But that's where I'm off to now, and I'll update you guys as soon as I'm done. Peace. So I've just come back from the chiropractor, and she has literally said there's absolutely nothing that they can do. Okay, all of the pain is just coming because that disc is busted, and yeah, there's not much, unfortunately. I thought it would be more muscular related, but it's just got everything to do with the damn nerve. So I'm just gonna have to deal with the pain until I get the surgery done. It sucks, you know. I'm not as functional as I was. I haven't been able to go to the gym. I haven't been able to do what I enjoy. But, you know, it is what it is. Shit happens sometimes. That is life. And there is literally no point in bitching and complaining about it, because none of that is going to change. It's not going to change anything, okay? I just got to push through. I got to hang on. And it's only 2 more months until I can upgrade the medical aid, because they've got some stupid rule that you can't upgrade it within that year. But we move on, eh? Well, that's life. That's life. Shit happens. Complaining ain't gonna do anything. So that's that. Anyway, so this week, because I haven't been able to train, I have been following my low day meal plan. Now, by following my low day meal plan, with my carb cycling meal plan obviously, I have been able to drop another pound. Okay, I've leaned out even more, and that is why carb cycling is so important. If I were to eat the same meal as I usually do, having the excess carbs, having the excess calories, I would not have made any progress this week. So on an upside, I definitely prioritized dropping fat, and I wouldn't have lost any muscle tissue because I made sure that my protein intake is where it needs to be. I've manipulated my macro split in a specific type of way, which is brilliant. But super happy with the progress. This morning I was not able to get my progress photos done, those check-ins, the visual side of things, and that's just because I had to now run. This was a last minute booking, so I had to run. I'm still in a fasted state though. I did get my weight in this morning, and as we know, 1 pound was dropped. Am I going to be making changes and manipulations to the plan? Yes, I am. I am moving closer to that deep deplete. I'm super excited for it, and you know what's funny? Even though I've been following my low day meal plan, I haven't been getting as hungry, right? When I first started with these changes like 2 weeks ago, or was it a week ago when I started, no, it was about 2-3 weeks ago when I started pushing my first meal to about 2 p.m. This week I've been able to push it to 3 p.m. without getting those cravings, without getting super hungry. That just shows you, when you repeat something over and over and over again with the correct structure, it becomes easier, it becomes simpler. I don't have those cravings anymore. And if I look back even more, I started getting cravings throughout the day, toward the end of the day when I started making drops. That's another reason why I actually pushed back my meal, so that I don't get those cravings, because majority of us, we don't get the cravings in the mornings. Okay, you don't wake up super hungry in the mornings. So pushing your first meal back as far as you can means that, let's say you have your meal at 1 p.m, right, or 2 p.m, that means your next meal is going to be 3 hours after. Then it's already 5 p.m, then your dinner is going to be at 7, and you're feeling satiated and you're feeling full. So it's not going to cause those hunger pains to happen. And also hydration is super important, because a lot of people actually confuse hunger with thirst, because those signals get sent to the same part of the brain, right, where hunger and thirst is regulated. So if you're dehydrated, you are going to feel like you're going to be hungry. So that's why it's very important to make sure that you get plenty of hydration. And not just that, hydration is crucial for obviously daily function and for muscle growth, for fat loss. If you're not hydrated, it's not going to work in your favor. So that's why that's very important. And if you drink a lot of water, you can feel full too. You need to be drinking at least 4 to 6 liters of water daily. But yeah, that's this week. Changes are going to be happening tonight. That's another thing. I decided to move my check-ins on Saturday. So today is Saturday. The reason for that is because I found, you know what, I need one day of the week where at least in the afternoon I can just unwind, relax and reset. Okay, I've been pushing myself a decent amount when it comes to working, when it comes to the graft. I will still do my morning sessions where I hit, you know, my 4 to 6 hour deep work session, because I wake up very early in the morning, right? My girlfriend's still asleep, the dog I take out for a wee, and then she goes straight back to sleep, so I'm up. So I've got that time to work on self-development and prep my week. But yeah, so Sunday I'm going to be taking off in the afternoons. And I found last week, you know, I was filming this for you, the last video was it week 6 for you guys, and I just sat up until like 9 p.m, 10 p.m. And the problem was I wasn't even able to post the video that night, because it took so long for my to transfer the videos from the camera. But with that being said, this week I made some upgrades to my systems. I got a new phone right over there, and I got a new laptop. Now, I've never really cared too much about technology. I have had the last phone for 5 years. If the thing works, then brilliant. But it started tweaking out. I think Apple devices, they usually have about a 2 to 3 year lifespan. Mine lasted 5 years, so that was pretty sick. But I got upgrades done, and another reason why I decided, you know, I'm going to upgrade my laptop, because I've got a decent laptop, it works. But when it comes to transferring certain videos, when it comes to transferring documents, if you're going from a Samsung to iOS, so if I had a Samsung laptop and I wanted to put it to my iPad or I want to put it to my iPhone, it is such a nightmare because it's not compatible. So that I found was literally holding me back. That was a flaw in my system, you know, taking time out of my day. So as soon as I made that switch, literally I took a video and I put it on my computer on the new laptop, and it was so easy. It literally transferred within, I think it was like 2 to 3 minutes, which would usually take me literally 20 minutes to transfer. And that is how just a little change in your system can be the difference, right? If you are eating super healthy, you're eating super clean, but you're not following a macro split, or you're not implementing carb cycling, those little things could literally be holding you back from achieving your full potential, right? And reaching that goal that you want to get to. So it's very important to have all those little systems. Something that you think might be so small could take you such a far way. And with me, I'm super stoked. I'm gonna get this video up super quickly because now I can transfer, I can edit. That's another thing. I can edit so much better on this new computer. And when I did the editing for the first time, I was sitting there for like 15-20 minutes trying to figure out the new platform, because the platform that I edit videos on, it's a little bit different. It's different to the phone and the iPad setting. So I had to try and figure this out, like, how is this, how do I do this? But then I'm like, come on, all of the information is literally by the tips of my finger. I can Google it. So I just snapped. I'm like, okay, well, there we go. Let me just Google it. Or I ChatGPT'd it, and I also YouTube videoed it. Something that would have taken me 2 hours to do, literally took me 10 minutes. Okay, because now I had guidance and I had a roadmap to success. And a lot of guys message me, send me DMs. They say they've been stuck. You know, they haven't been able to lose weight. They've been in a deficit. They've been eating healthy. And then I ask them those questions. Well, are you following a personalized meal plan? Are you following a personalized macro split? Are you implementing carb cycling? And does that link up to your high and low days with your training protocols? They're like, no. I'm like, then why are you messaging me? I have got so much information, free value on YouTube for you guys to watch. If you implement it, I promise you, you'll see ridiculous changes. Now, if it's something a little bit more specific, like, listen, Eugene, I've tried the carb cycling, but you know, it's not, I don't find this is working or that's working. Not a problem. Then you DM me, send me a message. I will help you out with that. We can set up a game plan strategy call, see where you're going wrong, and then move you forward, right? But don't ask me like, is this supposed to be my protein intake? Like, dude, you can ChatGPT that shit, man. You can Google that stuff. How I work is I work at a more advanced level, you know. It's not, I'm not going to give you some cookie cutter program and say, okay, you just need to eat, just stay in a deficit. No, I don't work like that. I never have. You know, you get some people, I've had guys that wanted to join the program, and they're literally like, yeah, I want to achieve these results, but I don't want to follow a meal plan. I don't want to track my food. I don't want to weigh my food. Bro, you can weigh your food once or twice per week. Come on, if you're too lazy to do that, then you honestly do not deserve the results that you're looking for. I've told them, I'm sorry, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to give you promises to achieving this physique if you don't want to put in the work, put in the effort. Nah, that's bullshit. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. I work in a more advanced way. I work in a way to get you results within at least 16 weeks, like a next level transformation. And that is not going to be achieved by doing half-ass work, by not putting in what is needed. You need to remember, the more you sacrifice, the more you put in, the more return you're going to get. Do not expect 100% return if you're getting 50%. But that's my little rant done. I want to cover one more thing. So this morning I was on a client call with one of my elite clients, Esvir. Now Esvir is an absolute legend, right? He is a cardiac surgeon, so he's on call sometimes 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, and he reached out to me, or we set up a call because he hasn't been adhering to the program as best possible, and that's because his schedule is so out of whack, right? He doesn't know what's going to happen when. So we hopped on a call so that I could structure things to fit him, because, and that's why cookie cutter shit doesn't work as well. If you don't have it structured to what your routine is, and a lot of the guys in the Lean Mass Method, majority of them are all high professionals, okay? They're businessmen, they're business owners, so they need something that fits them. And that's why if you follow some generic plan that isn't set to your schedule, that's like a 2-hour training session, you're not going to stick to it. And consistency is the most important thing, right? Repetition. Consistency beats perfection. If you can't train an hour, 5 times per week, but you can train 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 4 times per week, that's better, and you can stay consistent with it, you're going to get far better results, right? And that's why that's super, super important. But anyway, so what we've done is we've restructured it. I've created a complete new plan for him. that will take him 30 to 40 minutes and he's still going to get crazy results, okay? Because now we're structuring it for him in a specific way. And not only that, when Esfir joined me, right, he told me that he had this habit, and it was a bad habit. And that habit was that he would wake up first thing in the morning. He didn't have a morning routine, which we now have implemented as well, and he would go straight to looking at his phone, right? And I always preach that you should never do that, because that determines how your day is set up. So he would wake up and he'd look at his phone and he'd just get tons of messages from colleagues and what's going on in their group for what he does, of course. And it would just put him in a state of anxiety, in a state of being overwhelmed. And that is literally a change that he's implemented, that we've implemented for him, and to break that habit of looking at his phone. And he said since he's been able to do that, he goes into the day with like way less stress, like set up, like in the right mindset, because mindset is crucial, mindset is key. So that's something we implemented. And of course now he started training in the mornings, and he's told me he's been able to adhere to the plan far better this week because of those morning sessions. And not just that, training in the morning has set him up for the day, because he's getting this endorphin rush. He starts feeling good about himself when he gets to work. He's got his training in, and he's feeling a lot more confident in that aspect, and more confident that he's going to be able to stick to the new program because of the changes that we've made. And that is just how important, like, structure and creating the right habits and eliminating bad habits is so important to set you up for the success that you want in reaching whatever goal it is. And when he came to me, he didn't realize it was a bad habit. And that's why the first step to changing and rewiring bad habits is actually awareness, because majority of the time there are so many of us that do not even realize that it's a bad habit. And what I refer to a bad habit, because habits can be good, right? They can all be beneficial. Even though smoking is considered a bad thing, it can help you with stress relief, okay? But how it is considered a bad habit is if it is holding you back from achieving the goals that you have set out. And that's how you differentiate a good habit between a bad habit. And there's a tactic that you can use from the book, Atomic Habits, highly recommended. And it is a habit scorecard, where you literally take all the things you do, take your basic daily routine, and literally jot it down. So I wake up, I look at my phone, I have a cup of coffee, I smoke a cigarette. What else can you do? You go on Instagram for another hour and doom scroll. Take those habits that you have, take that little routine, then ask yourself, which of these actions are going to move me forward, and which of these are going to hold me back, or are going to be slightly detrimental or very detrimental. Boom, waking up early, that's a good habit. You're going to give that a plus, okay? Looking at my phone first thing, looking at brain rot stuff, that's a minus. That's a bad habit. That's going to set you up in a bad mind frame. Something in that message could literally trigger you, right? It could be something like financial. It could be something on the news that you've just seen, and it's just set your day up for a shitty mood, right? So that's a negative. Plus could be, having a cup of coffee every morning. That is just neutral, okay? That's usually something that you would do. So it's neutral, it's not really beneficial, it's not really detrimental. And if you think having a coffee for energy is the best move, then no. If you're relying on caffeine for energy, no, it's not the best move. You can completely change that through your dietary aspect, okay? What you eat, how you time your meals, and that's basically, you don't have to rely on caffeine. I know plenty of people that completely stop drinking coffee and actually feel a lot better. I drink coffee. I love the taste of coffee. It's part of my habit, and to me that sets me up, but I don't rely on it for energy. Like, I've also stopped using caffeine pre-workouts because they just actually crash me at the end of the day, and I rely specifically on a pre-workout meal for that. But that's the rant done for today. Let me go get those progress pictures done. It's gonna look shocking. It's gonna look shit. I can't put any pressure on my right leg. I've been limping around a decent amount, so I'm gonna be looking skew, not gonna be looking the best. but it is what it is. Next week, we hope it's going to improve, and then I will see you guys later for the updates on the meal plan and the training plan potentially. Hopefully I can go to the gym next week. I'm going to give it a try, but we'll see how all of that goes. Peace, guys. Yes, I just did my check-ins now. Let's see what the time is. Time is 2:26 p.m. I'm having my first meal, and again, it's low day, so there's no carbs whatsoever. But check-ins are done. I made progress, which I'm super happy with. I am starting to look flatter and flatter as the carbs are being depleted, as the glycogen is being depleted from my body. In specific, I haven't had my pre-workout meals, I haven't had my post-workout meals, and that's simply because I haven't been training. As you guys can see with the visuals, yeah, it's not looking great with regards to the spine, super skew, super painful, but I'm just gonna rest, see what happens, see how I feel. On Monday, hopefully I can just be a bit more functional, just go to the gym, do some machine work. But I'm really, really hoping to just chill, Tomorrow, I'm still gonna do some house stuff. I need to finish up a bunch of stuff. It's all coming together, which is awesome. The couch is being delivered next week. We got a bunch of other stuff coming. Just taking a while to get done, but we're getting it done. So that's cool. Maybe I'll film a little bit of video of that, kind of a DIY day, what I'm doing when I'm not training, when I'm not doing additional work, even though I'm supposed to be chilling, resting and recovering. It's very difficult for me to just stay static and do nothing, right? If I don't do something, if I don't work towards something, I get depressed, right? You become in a depressive state because as a man, if you don't have a purpose in life, you become depressed, you become complacent, you just aren't living to your full potential, you aren't living to your full, like where you should be, your higher self. And I'm a big believer, right? A man needs to have a mission, a man needs to have a purpose, and a man needs to be a provider and a protector. That is what I see a man to be, and that is the role that I am going to be stepping in, right? When I'm a father, when I'm a husband, I'm going to make sure everything's locked in. I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be fit. This shit's going to be sorted out so that I can, live a full life with my children one day, with my kids. Be able to provide them with, obviously the best life ever, but for me to be present, for me to be there, right? And play catch, do all that type of shit, go fishing, go motorbiking, everything. I want to do that. I want to be healthy and I want to prioritize my health. And that's what the whole point of this is. But yeah, peace guys. I'm going to show you guys exactly what changes I'm going to be making to the plan because I am going to be making updates. We are moving closer to that deep deplete, baby. But yeah, peace. I'm going to get this down and I'll see you guys in the dashboard. What is up, gents? So now we are in the dashboard. Let's see the progress that has been made in this past week. Keep in mind, I haven't been able to go to the gym. I've been following my low day meal plan and I've still managed to make progress. Now, if I was just following the exact same meal plan, eating the same type of way, I wouldn't have made progress because I didn't do any faster cardio. I didn't do any type of training, yet I still dropped. And if I had followed a normal plan or just the same type of plan, I probably would have increased in weight because I am now taking in extra calories and I'm not burning those additional added calories. For example, the pre-workout meal, the post-workout meal, and the additional meals as well. So let's see what we've got. 224 pounds to 217 pounds. So that is, what is that? 7 pounds dropped, and this is week 7. So I'm dropping basically a pound every single week. If you want to average it, it's a pound per week. And I'm not starting to look hella skinny, which we're going to see in the visuals. Yes, I am starting to look a little bit flatter, but that's because the carbs are now being depleted out of my system, meaning that the glycogen storage aren't going to be as full as they usually are. But that's fine. That's part of the process. You got to just sacrifice a little bit of flat feeling for what's to come when we move straight into the growth phase. Because when the growth phase comes, the glycogen just gets pushed into the muscles. The muscles respond extremely well to those added carbs as well as the other nutrients, and it's just going to be used for building muscle tissue and not going to be stored for fat. And that is the beauty of the priming and the depletion phase, and that is why it is so crucial for you to follow that if that's what you want. Okay, yeah, a little cool. but we're going to put that down. Let's see what we've got here. So now let's go to the photos. See what progress we've got going on here. Okay. Still taking some time to load. Here we go. Huge difference. This is a pound difference, and look at the difference in the visuals there. The chest, funny enough, is looking even fuller, but that's just because I've lost some water, I've lost some fat around the area, so the definition itself actually makes you look a lot thicker and a lot better, right? Look at the tricep coming out here as well. That is slowly starting to go away. That should go away. The midsection is tightening up as well. I mean, this angle looks a lot better. This is a bit closer. Even the back, cheapers, look how skewed it is this week. It is crazy skew this week, but it's fine. That is what it is. So let's see from the beginning. Bloody wankers revving their bike out here. Okay, let's see. So this is the first photo, and let's compare that to the latest photo. Huge difference, massive difference. Let's see if I can open this up. And you can't do it side by side. No, you can't. That sucks. Okay. But I will pop up a side by side right now so you guys can actually just see on the screen. That is the side by side. That is the difference within the past 7 weeks. And I'm not looking super skinny. I'm not looking as flat as I thought I was, but I mean it is getting flatter. And when those carbs come back in, it's going to be an absolute game changer. But now let's make some changes. There's going to be no changes to the training plan because, to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to the gym this week coming. I'm just not going to put myself at risk and risk injuring it more. Am I going to stay stagnant? Am I going to do nothing? Absolutely not. If I can't go to the gym, if I wake up again tomorrow and I can't walk and I'm limping around like crazy, then I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do something else. Okay. I'm going to do 100 push-ups every single damn morning if I need to. Okay. Because I'm still trying to get the body moving. So that's a replacement that I will do. I'm not just going to sit on my ass and feel sorry for myself, because feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to change anything. So let's go to the meal plan updates. Boom. And you know what's funny? I started on what was 3,700, 3,800 calories, somewhere around there. And I've only dropped 300 calories and I've been able to drop 7 pounds. And the reason for this, it's not just about dropping the food, it's about manipulating it in a specific way, specific times, pushing meals, like the first meal further back. I will first implement a bunch of other techniques before I go straight into dropping food, okay? I will never ever just drop food ridiculously because your body needs food. Our goal is to build muscle tissue and not just lose the weight. So many guys, they tend to just drop weight, okay? They're so fixated on the scale. What ends up happening is they just lose so much muscle tissue in the process. And I don't want that. I don't want to become a skinny bitch. I've been there, done that. Got the t-shirt, don't want it anymore. So let's see what we got here. For my dinner, I'm removing the carbohydrates, but I'm going to replace it with something else, and you're going to see that in a moment. So I don't necessarily want to go crazy low, right, with the calories right now, because I'm seeing crazy progress. I'm seeing a drop. I'm very happy. But what I'll do is I do want to drop carbohydrates because that is going to then prime insulin sensitivity. So I'm going to drop the rice, pulling more carbs out of the plan, taking me to 20%. I'm sitting at 2,700 calories, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to add some more proteins and some more fats. So I've added 4 eggs. Because I've pulled the carbohydrates out, I'm going to be losing some energy, okay? And to replace it with something like a fat source and added protein is going to make sure that you do not add any extra fat, okay? But it's still going to give you energy. And adding these extra fat sources, right? Adding this extra fat into the protein, and it's a good fat. These eggs is packed with nutrients, is going to give me more sustainable energy. Okay, because as I start pulling out the carbs, I want to make sure that I still have energy, that I can still perform, and I can still live my day-to-day life, right? So another thing with the fats, it's going to regulate hormones. So that's going to boost the recovery process, especially on these recovery days and when I'm not training. But I'll still make sure that on my high days, on my training days, that the carbs are high. I will only deplete those coming much, much closer to the deep deplete, right? When I go through when I start going through those trenches. But when I do that, the training structure will change completely as well. The reps, the sets, the resting, everything will change as well. So it's not always the same. You can't keep things constant. If you want to see progress on a weekly basis, like I have, like every single one of my clients do, because we manipulate on a weekly basis, that is how you're going to see progress. That is how you're going to move forward, and that's going to get out of your plateau. You can't just, if you train the same, you remain the same. If you eat the same, you remain the same. So basically, if you do the same, you stay the same. So that is the only changes I'm going to be making to the plan as of this week. I am expecting to see more progress. We'll see if I'm able to go to the gym or not. That all depends on how the back is feeling. But I'm excited for the week regardless. I'm going to spend the rest of my Sunday not fully relaxing, completing a couple of house things. There's a couple of things I still want to get done. This is kind of a day that I take off from working specific, right? I'll do my morning session as I'm doing now, but I'm going to chill out for the rest of the day, do the house things. And most importantly, I'm going to prepare tonight to make sure that I have a productive week. If I don't do my Sunday preparations, right? If I do not do any planning for the week ahead, exactly what I'm going to do on what day, what is going to be my priorities, what are going to be my focuses, what are going to be my goals to reach. I come into Monday super scattered, super overwhelmed. Like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. Whereas if I plan on a Sunday, I come into Monday, boom, wake up, hit my morning routine, come take a seat, and I know exactly what I'm doing. There's no bullshit, there's no noise. I know I go straight. Okay, this, boom, and I do so for the rest of the week. If you go in every single day and you don't have that direction, you don't know what to do, that's going to affect your productivity for the entire week. It's exactly like today, for example. I'm going to sit, and this is something that I've implemented as well. Something that I've been really struggling with, not recently because I've made some changes, but in the past, is I would always run out of storage, right? Because I'm filming, because I've got a shit ton of content and it's high quality for some of the videos, it takes up so much storage. I've literally got an iPad, I've got 2 iPhones now, I've got 2 laptops, and my storage is just cooked, right? So what I've done to make everything work for me, right? To get into that flow, because then I will sit and I'll be like, okay, I need to edit, but I can't transfer any videos. What does that do? Now I have to go, I have to look for videos to delete. That is going to put me out of the flow. That takes time out of my day. So I need to make sure that I'm setting up the right systems and the right structures for that. So what I've done is every Sunday, I go through all of the videos I've done for the week. I either save them to a drive or I delete them. I get rid of them so that next week I can just be in the flow. Boom, I've got my content. I can send it over. I can edit. It's the same if you are like struggling with sticking to your meals. If you can't stick to your meals, you're finding it difficult to stay consistent because they aren't prepped, they aren't weighed. Then what you need to do is every Sunday do a meal prep, just like I have. This is something that I've adopted, that my clients have adopted, to make sure that the week is set up and that you stay consistent with your meals. Guys, this is an absolute game changer. I've told this time and time again on my socials. Just do it. I've still got you guys like coming to me, messaging me about consistency, struggling with consistency with meals. Dude, go and meal prep. I promise you, you will thank me. And once you do so, send me a DM saying, dude, this was insane. Thank you so much. There you go. And then I'll give you some more tips of how you can just optimize that to the next level. Guys, go do your meal prep. It literally is going to take you an hour. All you need to do thereafter, everything's going to be weighed, everything's going to be tracked. You just need to take it out of the fridge, heat it up. You can take it to work with you. So now you also don't have an excuse to say, yeah, but I'm working so much, like I have to eat out. Bullshit. Okay, you can do it. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are finding value in it. I hope that you're implementing it, and I hope that you guys make some F off progress. Peace. I'll see you for the next one.